Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be showing you how to assemble the Solo Stove Yukon. If you're not familiar with Solo Stove, they make smokeless fire pits. They have a few different sizes out there. The Yukon is on the larger size. And just innovative technology here in order to really cut down on smoke and just make your backyard fire pit experience a pleasant one. Super simple to assemble as well. So we have a brand new stainless steel unit here, never been used, and we're going to start with our base, our stand. We'll just throw that on a level area. We'll take the Yukon, the actual fire pit itself, throw that down, make sure that it's nice and level and even on there. Then we need to add our ash pan, which is just going to collect all of the ash as we're making these beautiful backyard memories. And on top of that is our base plate, just to prevent any wood from going down, as well as creating a wonderful area for the air to come up and give us a nice hot smokeless fire. And then we have the flame ring. Want to make sure that it's going on just like this to help create that airflow that we're looking for. And then we have our shield, which will just keep everything inside there nice and safe for the backyard and good to go. It is that simple to assemble our Solo Stove Yukon. Stick around and we'll light a fire. All right, so let's do an inaugural burn on the Solo Stove Yukon. I've got a real nice just set of dried logs in here ready to go. I've got a couple of fire starters that I can just strategically place around some of the wood here. I would recommend using really dry wood. I have some kiln dried firewood that I get locally that seems to just work really well, enhancing the smokeless pit. And I never really seem to have any issue with it starting. Beautiful gun from Amazon to help start the fire. Can't recommend it enough. There it goes. It knew I was recommending it, so it was going to give me a hard time. But this just seems to do a great job at lighting the fire. Obviously it does those fire starters like they're nothing. But I mean, I could probably sit out here without even the fire starters and just light a log with this thing, and it would just do a wonderful job. Really excited to see what the Yukon is going to do in terms of heat and fire compared to the Bonfire, which is another model that we do own. But this is the first time using the Yukon, and really just wanted something a little bit bigger. I think we'll do a separate video on that, but yeah, excited here to see how the Yukon does. So stay tuned, check back, and I'll let you know how it's going. So just about a minute into the burn, and you can see the fire starters are doing a great job of catching the logs. I will say for a smokeless fire, this is really the only time that you're going to have a lot of smoke is when it's first starting up. The whole idea of the smokeless fire is that it's using that double-walled insulation there to bring the air up and have a secondary burn. So initially, expect some smoke, but once you get this thing roaring, it is going to be great. You can have a bunch of people sitting or standing around this thing, and you don't have to worry about smoke blowing into your face. It is a little bit of a breezy day as we speak, so this will be a great test for that. And it is just coming along great, so we'll keep an eye on it and get this thing going. So here we are just about 5 minutes later, and I have not added any logs to the fire, and it is roaring. It's doing a great job. Still getting even hotter. There's not a lot of smoke, but there is a little bit of a breeze coming through right now, and yeah, you really don't have to worry about it. It is doing a great job. All right, so that just about wraps up our video on the Solo Stove Yukon. Overall, I am very impressed with its size and how it can hold a regular size log, and actually, fits quite a bit of them. The heat output is fantastic, the build quality top notch, plus the minimal smoke is a huge bonus. As far as downsides, there are a couple. It is a little bit on the pricier side, and it certainly does burn through a lot of that wood very quickly. But despite these, I am really happy with this. And if you're considering one for your outdoor space, definitely worth looking into. Now, next, I'll show you how to clean up the Yukon after a great fire, so don't go anywhere. And we'll also be having a future video that compares the Yukon to the Bonfire. So stay tuned for that. I think you're really going to enjoy it. All right, just going to walk through our cleanup process for the Solo Stove Yukon. So I threw the lid on it last night after the fire had cooled down a little bit. You can kind of get a look inside of what we're dealing with here. A couple things that I like to do is just have a pair of gloves just so that I'm not getting soot all over my hands. I've got a trash can ready to go, and that's pretty much it. We're going to take the flame ring off and just set that aside. And then there's a couple of components in this that come out, including the base plate, which is what we're looking at right now. So what I like to do is just try to spread the ash and the coals just more in the center of this so that whatever I can avoid falling down, I can. And then there's two little holes that you can grab right here to lift up this entire base plate. Do it nice and careful. And then right into your disposal spot. Now, the other thing that I like to do is get a steel brush in order to help me with this. So I've got one right over here, which is just a stainless steel brush. And I just use that just to get rid of anything else. In theory, you could probably just wipe it with your hand as well. But I like using the brush just to get some of the more caked on parts. You don't have to do this, and you don't have to clean this too often, but I typically will do it the day after a burn just to keep everything looking really good and not having to worry about it. So then on the last little bit here is the actual ash pan itself, which just completely comes out. You can see everything's in there real good. And then just dump, and this I will just wipe. And then there might be a few residuals in here. Not really a huge deal. You can really just leave it until it gets pretty good, or kind of pick it out like I'm doing right here. Or better yet, grab like a shop vac or something like that and get in there and get it all out. But then it just goes back together. Just as simple as we took it apart. And then it is ready to go for another fire.